Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to make a chocolate mayonnaise cake. And what's nice about this cake is if you don't have oil or eggs on hand, you can use the mayonnaise as a substitute because it's basically what mayonnaise is made from, egg and oil. And to get started, I'm going to use my Mix and Whip chef, and I wanted to do a video on it. So I'm just going to incorporate the video for this real quick with the cake, just to give you a quick overview. It's very lightweight, no electric of course. It has two gears. It has gear 1 and gear 2. Gear 1 goes much faster, and it's perfect for whipping egg whites, your thinner batters, and whipped cream. Makes excellent whipped cream, chocolate mousse. And then gear 2 goes slower and has an extra gear. And now to hear the difference, this is gear 1. And then when you start feeling resistance in the batter that you're making, you should always start with gear 1. And then when you start feeling some resistance, just switch over to gear 2. And it goes a little bit slower and kicks in that extra gear. Excuse me. So when you get, one thing to remember when you get this, the handle comes separately, of course. You want to make sure when you put the handle on, you don't just set it on, put it on them with your palm, just push down a little bit and make sure it snaps in. And it won't come off the base then. You can get it off. It is a little harder to get off. At least mine is. I have a hard time popping it off. But to clean it, all you do is, and these things come separately too, and you just snap them into place. And then this has, if you put it back on, there's teeth here, and those teeth go into right here, and it locks it into place. And you'll also see here where it says lock and unlock. If you turn this, just hold it by, there's a nice little raised area here. If you turn it there, this lifts off, and then this comes out, and then you can clean in here. You don't necessarily have to do it every time you use it. I take it apart and wipe it out, and if I see there's debris in there, I'll give it a swish in my soapy dishwater. And then you just put that back in there, and then you line this up to the unlock, and it'll go down and then snap it back into lock. And just like with our Power Chef, it has this thing here, a rubber stopper that comes up and slides around, and then your funnel goes in. And then of course you can have your funnel open or closed, and then there are measurements on the inside here. So if you have it in the closed position and you're making something and you just want to drizzle your liquid in slowly, you measure in here. It has ounces and milliliters, whatever your liquid is, and then you can control the consistency of flow. So that's a really nice feature. And then it does have your measurements on the sides here. Let's get on with the recipe. So, and what's nice about this also, you can put it, it stands on its own like that, which is really nice, so you don't make a mess all over everything. I will be using my Instant Omni oven, and I found this pan. You can't use a normal 9x13 in there with handles, they just won't fit. But I found this pan, and I'll insert a picture of the liner here, the paper that comes inside of it. And it is a size 12.10 inches by 8.8 inches by 2.4 inches, and it fits absolutely perfectly. So you can make a recipe for a 9x13 pan and use this, because this seems like it's a little bit deeper than a normal 9x13 pan. And it is non-stick. So this is the pan I'm going to bake my cake in today. Okay, so let's get started with the recipe. Now when you're using this, you always want to start with your liquid first. And this is very basic and very quick. So it says 1 cup of water, but I'm going to use 1 cup of coffee. Coffee brings out the natural flavors of the cocoa powder. So I'm going to use 1 cup of coffee. And then to that, I'm going to add my granulated sugar. And my mayonnaise. And then I'm going to put my top on. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. Now I'm starting out, I didn't have it down all the way. Now I'm going to start out in gear 1 just to give it a little bit of a mix. And then I have 2 cups of flour here. I already pre-measured it, and I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of, just to kind of get it mixed in just a little bit. Now I'm going to add just some of my dry ingredients at a time. Okay. And I'm going to start it on 1. But I feel like there's pretty much resistance, so I'm going to switch to gear 2 and mix it up just a little bit. Okay, put the rest of my flour in with the baking soda in it. Give it a little bit of a mix. I'm not doing it thoroughly because I have to add my cocoa powder yet, which I'm going to do that now. Now I'm going to mix it up thoroughly. And I'm feeling some resistance, even though it's on gear 2. And this is a really thick batter. So now I'm going to stop and look how nice and dark that is. And I'm going to add in my vanilla. So give this a good mix. Okay. And then another nice thing you can do is just turn your handle. You don't want to go crazy that you'll have batter all over the place, but just turn your handle a little bit to kind of knock off that excess batter. Okay. And then I'm going to take my spatula and just kind of make sure everything's incorporated well from the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to pour my batter in my pan. I'm not going to spray it. I want to see how well this the non-stick works in it, so I'm not going to spray it at all. Feel free to if you'd like to, but I'd like to see how the non-stick works. Okay, now I'm just going to spread it out in the pan. And I think for this size pan, you'd probably want to double your recipe. I think this is going to make a pretty thin cake, but we'll see. I normally bake it in a 9x9 pan, but I bought this pan for my Instant Omni and I was excited to try it out. And now that I look at the batter, I'm thinking, no, I probably should have doubled my recipe, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm waiting for my Instant Omni to preheat, and it says to bake it for 35 to 40 minutes. And that's in a 9x9 pan, which is, you know, a lot smaller than this. So I'm going to start at 25 minutes. I can always add time, but I can't take time away. So I will be back once this cake is baked and I'll recap. Okay, I'm back and the cake is baked and cooled, and it ended up taking about, let's see, 16 minutes at 350 in the Instant Omni in this 12x8 pan. So I think if you put in a smaller pan, you might want to go like 20-25 minutes. I love the Instant Omni because it cooks so much faster. But I'll give you a close-up. You can see it didn't get real thick, but it's a good size. So now to frost it, put any kind of frosting on you want. If you don't want like the extra calories of frosting, it's really good with some powdered sugar on top. I'm gonna just use some store-bought frosting here. And that's all I'm gonna put on mine. So let me get this stirred up. And when you open frosting like this, give it a nice good stir to get it fluffy again before you put it on your cake. I'll cut back as soon as I have the cake frosted. Okay, I'm back and the cake is almost completely iced. And I wanted to show you, if you take some of the icing, I am using a metal utensil. I don't want to scratch my pan. If you just take a clump and put it and just push the icing without touching the pan, you'll get nice and close to those sides. But that's it. I didn't use quite a whole container. I only used about 3/4 of the container. I'll save this for something else. And that's it, real quick and easy. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope everybody's staying safe, healthy, and happy. And I'll see you next video. Bye.